city.
So was that? Yeah, we always talk about like Genghis Khan and how he was able to take over the world. Was the competitive advantage horseback weaponry?
They had a lot of things going for them. They had strategy, first of all. They had devious, wild strategies. Like they would set people up. Like they would send a small party out, and those people would go after a small party and chase them down. They would lead them into like a canyon filled with Mongols and just slaughter everybody and block the exit. And they would hold a siege. They would attack a city, and they would bring so much food and so many supplies. They could just camp outside the
wait
city
for them to starve
until everybody starved out. And then they would start killing people and lighting them on fire and putting them on catapults and launching them over the walls and light their own houses on fire with the dead bodies of people they killed.
That's motivational.
Bro.
Yeah.
Those motherfuckers killed 10% of the population.
That's the crazy thing. Like, I don't know. I always wonder about these times. Like what was like the Roman Empire's advantage? And some people chalk it up to like roads. Or like, why was Genghis something?
A lot going on. There was the knowledge of the recurve bow. They were really good at the recurve bows. They had catapults, and they just had like Genghis Khan just had this unquenchable desire to take over the world.
Yeah,
it's really crazy that no one's scared of the Mongols now. But then when one of those dudes fights in the UFC, you're like, Jesus.
Wait, who's Mongolian in the UFC?
Let's see. Who do we have? The Mongolian murderer. That's one dude. But there's people from that Caucasus region of the world. Like, there's a lot of people from Kazakhstan and Dagestan.
So all the stands are remnants
those guys
of the Mongolian
that look
Empire.
a little Asian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rachmanov.
Yeah. Shavkat
Rachmanov. Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah. Kind
that
of a beast.
motherfucker's so good.
Yeah.
But they're just so tough over there. It's just crazy that they took over the whole world at one point in time, and then it all went away. Like, that's a lesson for America to learn. Because Americans have this idea that we are the centerpiece of the military of the world. This is it. This is the baddest fucking army that's ever existed, bro. No one's going to stop us. But the reality is, like, every single civilization that has been in control has gone under. They all go under.
Now, did those civilizations have nukes?
No. No. That's the problem.
That's the tricky thing.
Yeah, the problem is if we go out ugly. But unless China is clever and they slowly dismantle our power grid and slowly pollute our country with like bombing chemical factories and do it slow over a long period of time. Like if you were a real conspiracy theorist, like one of them Reddit tinfoil hat.
Let's go deep, my boy.
You would think that China would not do a big thing, but a constant series of small things that people get accustomed to. And crash power grids. Do it slow. Do it over decades. You got plenty of time. As long as you don't nuke United States first, they're not going to nuke you.
Right.
They're not going to. We already did that once. We're not going to do that. If anybody is going to be a first bomber, it's not going to be us. It's not going to be us.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
That's a problem. That's a strategic problem.
Yeah.
Because we're all worried about Putin. We're like, what if Putin gets back to the corner? What if Ukraine starts winning? What if this? What if that? What if Putin really does have cancer? What if he decides to go out with a bang? Like, we're worried about that. No one's worried. What if Biden just nukes China? What if Biden's like, what's this, TikTok? You don't want to talk? You don't want to talk? You don't want to tell us about the code? How about this? Boom! Never. Never. We would never think that the Biden administration would go and nuke someone.
Never. And they know that. And because they know that, they're comfortable.
Yeah, so that you could do sneaky things.
Yeah.
I would do sneaky things. If I was China,
Slowly
or if I was Russia, or if I was Iran, if I was some country that didn't like us, I would do sneaky things.
So is that the concern with TikTok?
Oh, yeah. There was some fascinating conversations today.
Because it looks like they're going to ban it.
For sure, they're not telling the truth. Like the way this CEO was talking to the senator today is like, oh my God. It's like They just want to say whatever they have to say to get out of there.
Wow,
like
what
he
do they
doesn't
say?
answer the questions. He dances around, and the senator keeps trying to say, that's a yes or no question.
Right.
That's a yes or no question.
Yeah.
Like these dudes have been sending data to China from day one.
Yeah.
And they're doing something with that data. They're
Yeah.
accumulating. They're finding out how coordinated our kids
What the dances are about. They're just trying to find out how coordinated.
Imagine.
Bro. Wow, every TikTok trend is just a little bit of a little information about our youth.
Also, how easily like led they are. You could get them to that app.
Well, clout
All
is
you
the
have to do
currency.
It's clout, but it's
Yeah.
they have so many things going for them. First of all, it's very easy to get a big following there. It's very easy to get shared.
Instantaneous, it
You
feels.
can blow up,
Yeah.
so that gets people excited about it and they use it. And
Yeah.
it's genuinely a really good portal for creativity. Like some people do some interesting
Oh,
shit
dude,
on there.
It's amazing. I almost think it's our fault it's successful because we didn't think of it.
Yeah.
Like we need some responsibility here. Like why is another country coming up with the best form of social media? That's on us. We dominated social.
That's Adam Curry's theory.
What do you say?
Adam Curry doesn't believe it's any different in the way it gathers data than what the American
It's
social
just a
media
better
platforms.
distributor of that data.
He just thinks that no, this is just China kicking our ass,
Yep.
and we want to stop them from doing that.
Yeah.
That we're not doing things that are that much different than what
Yeah.
they're doing. I
Yeah.
don't know if that's true.
Well, I don't know.
It's just Adam is very smart though.
Yeah, no, I think that there's something to that. It's like you want to win the culture war, and we've done that so well, right? Like we had all these movies, these TV shows that like shared our culture around the world, and that culture was romantic. It's sexy. You
Oh
go
my
watch
God.
fucking Top Gun, you go watch Maverick, and you're just like, oh my God, how amazing is it to be American?
How about when Rocky wins with American shorts on? Got American flag shorts on?
Best. Away game too. You know what I mean? Like over there running in the
Russians are
snow.
cheering
Like,
for 'em.
yeah. If we can change, you can change. We all change. 30 years later, same fucking problem.
Same fucking problem. Bro, I remember when that problem went away. I remember
really?
when the wall came down, we were so relaxed. It was amazing.
Wait,
because-
take me back to this. So there's
All
a
right, see,
time.
when I was in high school,
Yeah.
okay, in the 1980s, I was a freshman in 1981, and back then we were terrified of war with Russia. It was a terrifying fear of a nuclear war with the Soviet Union.
and break this down to me. So it's like, is it you're watching the news and is there like fear mongering? Do you believe it? Does it feel less
100%
propagandist?
100% there was fear mongering.
Hmm.
Look, it's always been if it bleeds, it leads in
Yeah.
the news. You know, we talk about how bad the news is today, but the reality is, like 5 o'clock news, when you get home from work, it was always the worst shit that happened. Double homicide in
Yeah.
Brooklyn.
Yeah, yeah.
It's always the worst shit to people, right? But the big one was always Russia.
Hmm.
And you would see the Soviet Union and, you know, you would see their leaders and you would see their army, and it was terrifying.
Yeah.
They were the last great communist empire,
Yeah.
you know, before China, right?
Yeah.
Before China really blew up militarily.
Yeah.
Back then, we weren't worried about China. Everybody was worried about the Soviet
And
Union.
you felt fear as a youth.
100%. I
And
talked to my wife,
justified
and she's
fear.
younger than me, and she felt the same thing. And some of my other friends, I asked them, they grew up in different parts of the country, and they were like, oh, yeah, everyone was scared of the fucking Russians, man. Like, there was all those movies like Red Dawn, where the Russians invade, we kick their fucking ass,
Yeah, yeah,
send them back home.
Yeah.
You know, that was what everybody was afraid of. And then the wall fell. And so when the wall fell and the Soviet Union collapsed, we have to really 89, 90.
So then the 90s comes on, and then in
What
the
year was it, Jamie? 89.
Okay, so 90s.
So the 90s come along and no one's worried about war anymore.
Yes. Is there a cultural apathy? Because
Well,
the
there's a lot of
90s.
bad things were made in the 90s. Some of the worst American cars that have ever existed were made during the 90s. We got real sloppy in the 90s. I look at, like, one of the things I look about with America, like how in tune America is what's
is
their
the
cars
automobiles?
like? What's their cars like?
So Space Race produces some of the most beautiful cars ever.
Space race and psychedelic drugs.
So
There's
Space
a
Race is
direct
what?
correlation.
60s?
Yes.
So you have all the cars that are coming out.
50s too.
50s,
Because
60s.
63 was when Kennedy says we want to put the first man on the moon.
So they're using all that crazy space influence to
Yeah.
make. And then, okay, so that goes away. And then psychedelics are 70s.
Well,
I'm trying to think-
psychedelics are 60s.
Oh, yes.
And then in 1970, they passed this sweeping Schedule 1 psychedelic Act that makes all those drugs Schedule 1 forbidden drugs. All the drugs that are non-toxic, like psilocybin, like things that your body makes, like dimethyltryptamine, all those things
That's
become
DMT.
Yeah, all those things become Schedule 1, and then automobile design drops off a fucking cliff.
That's funny.
I mean, drops off
That's
a cliff.
funny.
It's not totally. I mean, there's a correlation. It's maybe not totally the cause because it coincides with